That's a very good question. Andy, why am I here?
You're working
Don't go too far, you'll get...
No, I'll stay near the mic. We were... It's like this every week. 99 episodes have been putting up with us. No, with the pirate jokes a few weeks ago.
Brick by brick almost.
Terrible.
Sorry?
He's joking.
Brick by brick.
Just move on with that one.
That
was quite a good one, in fairness. It's like you've got a solution under one roof. No, it's not. Right, stop. Go on. Right, terrible. Come.
Hello and welcome to episode 99.
You'd think you'd been living in a monastery. How are you, sir?
I am absolutely shattered.
I'm sat there yesterday.
All right.
Look out the window of my office.
Yes.
A trolley gets brought out. What's going on here? And laptops fill that trolley, and then we're waiting.
Yeah.
While they were sorting it out, and I was like, "There's only one place that Windows 11 updates, sir."
Windows 11 updates. It's a bit crazy.
Yeah, you've had pieces of equipment arriving all week.
All week. The desktop, the build table, of which you've seen, is stacked high.
Yep.
I've now got 6 boxes beside me in my desk nearly. It's obstructing my dart playing, I'll have you know.
Yeah,
And
don't throw darts at those.
No, don't throw. And there's 6 PCs that are going into our lovely customer IAS Medical next week. But honestly, the next 3 to 4 weeks, me, Dan, and the rest of the team are just, Monday we're here delivering, Tuesday we're here delivering. Honestly.
So if you don't know, we keep saying it.
Keep saying
we'll
it.
keep saying it until it happens. Windows 10 will be no longer supported from the 14th of October. Make sure your machines are on Windows 11. You may not be able to upgrade your machines because of the way the circuitry works.
TPM.
So it may require a new piece of hardware. And on that note, I bought a new motherboard, which I'm waiting to arrive, and I'm going to try and retrofit it into...
Your gaming rig.
It's the editing rig. But
the editing rig.
Yeah, it's a gaming rig, but yeah. Yes, so... Here's a question. Can you just hot swap a motherboard in with it's the same chips and all that sort of stuff, same processors? It's got TPM, I've checked.
Yeah.
I should be able to just swap the processor on, put the RAM on, put the hard disk on, and hope to God it boots in Windows 10 and then upgrade it to Windows 11.
In theory, yes. But
it may go, there's a different motherboard.
Different motherboard. It will put all the different drivers in. I've done that about twice in my life, and I'll never do it again. Only because the first time it went well.
Yeah.
Second time it was like, no.
I'm expecting a fresh install, put it that way.
Put it that way. But if you have OneDrive, Google Drive, whatever you have, my friend, all backed up in the cloud, job
That's
done.
how I work, innit? Because I work with an IT company.
I've got a surprise.
Yeah.
Look to your...
Yes.
Right.
What's your name? Where do you come from?
Well, I'm Jolanta Drygas, almost like James Bond. Right?
Oh, yeah, I like that. That's good. That's strong.
Forrest Gump, yeah.
Forrest Gump, yeah.
Forrest.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does it the other way to James
exactly.
Bond. But yeah, either way works.
Right, so let me start again. I'm Jolanta, and, well, I came from Durham today.
Okay. I know nothing, by the way. So
She originates from Ireland, as you can tell from her accent.
Yes.
Right.
Northeast, definitely northeast.
Oh, yeah. Come on then, because all I knew was your name before you were arriving, and I haven't. I normally do a little LinkedIn look up, but I was like, no, I'm gonna go fresh. So, why are you sat here?
That's a very good question, Andy. Why am I here?
Because we met through a common friend, Paul Milliam.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And Jolanta is doing some little work for Paul on the side. And being who I am, I was like, so what do you do really? And I will let her explain. It's fascinating. And I went, oh, you'd be perfect for our podcast. And she foolishly agreed.
So you do a bit of freelance, but what's this other work that you do?
Well, I do run a consultancy company called Alventor.
Right, okay.
And we help companies implement strategic projects and manage the change across regions.
Oh.
And it could be a region as between Darlington and Durham,
Yep.
but it could be between north of England and south of England, but it also could be international.
All right. So no job's the same, is what I'm hearing. Yeah. And also, the first thing you said, change. People don't like that word.
No.
Or they don't like what that means as a result. So how did you come to do that? Like how did you suddenly go, I'm going to help people with change?
Do you know, it's a long story, as probably everyone has got a long story here, but I've been here in the Northeast for almost 2 decades.
Right, okay.
And all my professional life, I worked for software houses.
Yeah.
Actually quite big. I mean, the third, I think they claim, it's the third biggest software house in the UK that I worked for 15 years.
Okay.
different roles, starting as a system analyst, so analyzing the system, understanding where things don't work, why, what's going on. Then actually moving to a consultancy, so being an implementation consultant. And Andy, we talked about it.
Yes.
My bread and butter was the ERP
So was
systems.
mine.
Yeah.
So was mine.
What's
So we
ERP?
have-
You see.
What's ERP?
Well, if you think about it, for an average person, it's the financial, accounting, procurement, budgeting, you name it, systems
Yeah. Okay.
combined together. Yeah,
And that's
so
an ERP?
So we have a common, we worked with the AS400, we worked with BPIX, MAPIX, JBA, Software 20, System 21. This was software when I used to work for a company called Sulic Mouldings. They wanted software that did everything. As Jolanta said, it did inventory, it did stock, purchase orders, finance. It did absolutely everything. You would buy what's called an ERP, and you typically went to the SAPs, the BPICs, the MAPICs, the JBAs, the other one I can't
We
remember.
get a lot of acronyms very quickly
we
in this
do.
role,
but
don't we?
No, we get it.
We do, but
Huge.
kind of cutting of that technical language is when you think about it, yes, when you have a request to buy something on behalf of the business, you need to register that, someone needs to approve it,
Okay.
then it needs to go to a supplier, it needs to come back, someone has to confirm it has been received before you pay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of a procurement path.
Yeah.
But of course, there are other parts in the systems like general ledger, so that the accountants are making sure that business is up and running, that you've got a cash flow there, that you can predict your revenue going forward. For example.
Sorry, my brain is just now going because we've been talking about last week. We were talking about time and the struggle people have with time. Sounds very closely linked to these are the solutions that resolve some of that and put in process. And we talked about processes, how important they are. We've talked about how difficult it can be in terms of being everything in a business, in terms of your HR, your payroll, your health and safety, your a friend, a colleague, a boss, your customer relations manager, you're the whole lot, the whole kit and caboodle. Okay,
Yeah.
so that is kind of all the system stuff that can sit behind it, right?
It is, but also there are processes. And when you think about it, when you implement any system,
Yeah.
it really needs to be mapped well to your business.
Yes.
Otherwise, as you mentioned, the change, there's a high likelihood you will fail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because when you think about it, it's more like you can't really impose a change onto people without checking first with them, how does it sit?
Yeah.
Otherwise, they won't use it.
Yeah.
Or they will not use it appropriately. I like to use an example that, for example, if you are a chef or you like cooking, sorry, I could make you purchase a lemon juicer.
Okay.
Have you got
yeah.
the lemon juicer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you use it?
We use it all the time when there's over fish.
Do you use it?
I have one, but I don't use it. I'm perfect. There we
And
go.
look
Check
what
me
an
out.
example. Yes. So we bought a lemon juicer, and I thought that's exceptional. That will really speed your work up. But you don't use it. It's somewhere there in the drawer.
Yeah. Second
What
drawer.
happened? You spent money. You invested money. Why are you not using it?
This is a great example.
I don't have any lemons to lose.
It could be that. So
Yeah.
the purchase was incorrect.
Yeah.
We actually, made you buy it even though you don't cook with lemons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it could be
Saying
just...
saying that, we've got some lovely bits of salmon that we're going to be cooking. And you're now making me go, I need to stick some lemon on that.
You absolutely do.
Yeah.
It really
Carry on.
enhances.
So, it's that thought. So what happened? Why are you not using that lemon? It might be that you don't know you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Could be. You know you have it. You don't know how to use it. Or you might realize you would use it if you wanted water with a bit of lemon, but you just don't link it at the moment that actually you could use it with salmon.
Yeah. Or I could slice lemon in half and just squeeze it with my bare hands.
And this is what people end up doing, but that defeats the
Objective. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a really good example.
See what I mean?
like
That's
that.
brilliant. I told you she'd be a good guest.
I like that. Okay,
Too
carry
early
on.
to say. But you see,
It's too early to say,
yeah,
isn't it?
but this is why, if that was me talking to you, I would just say, hey, okay, let's talk about how you tend to cook. What do you do? What do you use? Do you, happen to use lemon at all? Yeah.
I used to before children. I'm thinking children arrive, you get busy, and things happen. So we'll keep going with this analogy. So basically, did. We used to have salmon all the time. We do that, but we often, we'll often flying out sports sessions and this, that, and the other with the kids. We weren't having salmon as much. You suppose you get out the habit of it in terms of doing that. I remember occasionally going, "Oh, I'll get some lime. Look at me, I'm posh." But I remember thinking that on my shopping list and doing that, and then sort of get out the habit of it. I suppose we'd get lemon for gin and tonics.
Yeah.
But I'm not really drinking anything at home now, and I don't have any need for any lemon for any gin and tonics. So it's like, I suppose some of it's time, some of it's need, some of it's a requirement.
It is. And when you think about it, it's, when you are on your own, and even if you enjoy a water with a bit of lemon, you probably wouldn't be, kind of motivated to look for that lemon squeezer, whatever we would call it, just for yourself. But now imagine we have a party for 50 people.
Yeah.
Speed now is of essence. You need to scale up. Will you really be squeezing 50 lemons with your hand?
Forearms.
Yeah. Or would you look for a quicker solution?
Well,
and then suddenly it makes sense to walk to that drawer and open it.
Yeah.
And actually use it.
I suppose the other sense as well is I could probably get more juice out of each lemon using the squeezer.
Definitely, but that's now the detail. I mean, at first, it's almost like understanding why you are not using it. Yeah, that's the first step. What happened? And then if you imagine in the world of software specifically, there is the maintenance fee you pay every year. So you pay for that lemon squeezer, juicer, whatever you would call it, and you don't use it.
If it was lemon squeezing as a service.
For example.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, software as a service is the official badge, or SaaS. To break that down, you pay a subscription and you get access to the software. So Microsoft Word, you used to buy, for those that can remember, Word 97, Word 98, Word 90, so on and so forth. Now what you do is you pay for Office 365. You get Teams as part of that. We've talked about that.
ID.
No, we're not doing that today.
Okay.
But that's software as a service, and
It's
every
constantly
time,
updated.
it's constantly updated. Whereas Windows 97 was the version that
Word
you had
97,
back. Word 97 was the version you got on a CD, and that was the version in perpetuity.
Absolutely.
Whereas now, because of the internet and how things have moved on, you pay a monthly subscription, and you get all of the updates that come with it. So let's pretend I was paying a subscription for my lemon juicer to be maintained. That's what we're talking about there.
Yeah, exactly. But if you imagine, my friend, that type of system now, so what Jolanta did and what we did when we installed our system, imagine talking to you, expand that to the department, and then each piece of software. So if I'm ordering something to come in to be delivered to allow me to make my lemon squeezer, I have to raise a purchase order. That purchase order needs to be sent to the customer. It then needs to be booked in to say it's been received. That purchase order would trigger that we've now got 10 lemon squeezers in stock. Yep. And then that would be passed to the finance department to get paid.
Yep.
Be the invoice. But imagine doing that whole conversation Jolanta's just done with lemon squeezer across every department. It took us, when we installed our JBA System 21, it took us about 12 months of constant thinking. How does it work? What does it do? Why doesn't this work? Why doesn't that work? But we don't work that way. Can we amend it? Can we modify it? That's why you need somebody like Jolanta.
Yeah, and I think actually for my example as well with my business, because it's easy for people to go, oh, this is for really big businesses. It isn't, because I've done it. So Alina had a meeting on Monday that I was out on another job. So I came...
Skiving.
No, I was out on the job. I came back in. So this is the one where I was saying Alina set up that meeting for Monday
perfect.
last
Yes,
week. Yeah,
last
so
week you
Alina
said
went
that.
direct to the client, sorted out the meeting, took me out the loop 'cause I'm not required. Like, Alina's the one doing the editing. She had the meeting. Have you been working on it, Alina? Not yet. Okay. But, because you're waiting for the footage, right? Yeah, so we're waiting for the footage.
Absolutely.
Right. So Alina's got a planner card in Teams where we've got checklists and this, that, and the other. And the last note on the card now is to tell me to raise the bill.
Yeah.
Whereas before, all of that was having to be kept up in our heads, and you'd have to remember. And believe it, as mad as people think, I'd forget to invoice.
It happens because when you are very busy,
Yeah.
it will.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a right system in place, it will remind you that
Yeah, so we
the
have job
purchase
cards that
order
go
hasn't
through
been-
now, and if it's sat there and it goes red if because we set a realistic deadline.
Yeah.
So yesterday, what I did was I had a little sit with the team and go, right, let's look at where are we up to, what are on deadline, you know, what are urgent and this and the other. And we just check that everything's done. And one project had literally just been finished edited, and I could raise the invoice.
Yeah.
But before that, I was missing stuff.
Absolutely.
And it happens because you see, I've got bigger clients and I work with smaller clients. And yeah, there is quite a big difference. Bigger clients tend to spend bigger money
Yep.
on solutions. And then if they don't work or if they don't utilize them, you know, it's a huge cost,
Yep.
annually. And to give you an example, one of our partners who do the data analysis, data predictions, they implement they have a range of platforms that they could implement for you. But one really a good example that stayed with me for forever really was when they were saying, oh, I've got that software. It doesn't do this, that, and that. And they were looking, of course it does.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
What happened? How can you not know that the lemon juicer is to squeeze whatever size of lemons, for example?
And you can also do limes.
Yeah,
exactly.
you can do the
That's what
limes
we say.
as an example,
Yeah,
or oranges, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit like that, and that's where the risk is, that, you know, the company might already have a solution, but they don't really understand all the possibilities that they could use. But also solutions that kind of evolve. There are, you know, new features being added. If you don't keep up with what's, like you were talking about the, you know, Windows
Yes.
being rolled out. If you don't keep up with what's going on, you wouldn't know. And that's okay because you are busy as a business owner. You are very busy. You don't have to know.
But that is equally why we keep saying it, because we realise that anyone listening, even you know, I had a really nice message off Kane from Mitchell Digital last week.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Saying how much he enjoyed the episode and understanding how the business owner is the bottleneck, which is
Yes.
what we talked about.
That's
Yeah,
what we are.
and this is a well done, sir. This is
Thank
like
you.
a lovely follow-on, because I spent a whole amount of time saying that in my business, I'm kind of the problem. Yeah, as in.
Well, you are a problem.
Thank you. But it's true, because if it's just all on I can't do everything.
You are the so-called bottleneck a little bit.
I'm
Yeah,
the
in some of
I
the
am the
processes.
bottleneck. Yeah, like sometimes when we are busy and everyone's coming direct, that's why I'm saying to Alina,
Handle that.
speak to this client and sort it out, because otherwise, and what I was saying is, if I took the meeting and then I relayed it to Alina, I might get the details wrong.
Yes.
And then I've set Alina off on a path that is not one that's going to give her the best opportunity to succeed.
Right,
Yeah, with the
absolutely.
client. The client will go, why have you done this? And she'll be like, Adam told me.
Yeah.
You know, so
But on a smaller scale, if you think about it as well, what Jolanta's saying is that even something like, I'll say, Microsoft Teams, you know, you were using it as terms of your filing, your chatting, things like that. And then you mentioned, or I think I mentioned about, have you seen Planner? And you're like, what? What's Planner?
Yes.
And I'm like, Planner in Teams, and I demonstrated it. Now you can't live without Planner.
Yep.
But that's because I feel it's my role to go, have you heard about Planner? Have you heard about? Because that benefits you as a business and makes you more successful.
So the question for people listening might be going, why are you actually like this is just software? Using Planner for me has really changed how we're doing things. So we'll often go into a meeting. So I was photographing with a client yesterday.
You were, yeah, I know that.
I am importing the footage as we speak.
Absolutely.
Time management, that's what I was doing
Very
in
good.
there, by the way. I was setting it all
Efficiency,
away,
yeah.
setting it all away, because I'm like, otherwise I'd have to wait for afterwards. But I met with a client yesterday. We did some videos, and he goes, "Where are we up to with?" And I went, "Well, actually, me and Adam have gone through your planner board. We've looked through it. We've got all the things that we've done, because part of the thing is." I had one other client say once it was witchcraft. Do you know all the digital stuff? It's witchcraft.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had one saying we're doing some SEO work, and it wasn't like necessarily changing the front of the website or anything like that. It was looking at the meta descriptions, the images, the tags, the accessibility. You know, if we've got things keyword optimized, then what blog schedule are we doing to go after certain keywords? So a lot of the bit before wasn't seen because a lot of it was research and prep and planning. So using Planner, we map it all in there, and then when I go to the client, I'm using it this way, not just to get the job done, but also to go, look at the work we've done.
It's a visual representation.
Yeah, I can say, here's all the tasks. So every task, we've got schools client, every task that we have done, that's where I was with the schools client taking photos. Every task we have done, and this is it, that was pushed out of my brain. You were saying what you're doing on your Skiving. I was like, I was somewhere, but I can't remember where. Because I'm the bottleneck, and I can only process really a couple of things at once.
Honestly, this is where people like Jolanta come in, and we've spoken about it before, Adam. People think it's easier to do it themselves. I haven't got the knowledge. I'm not as experienced as I think it is, and I haven't got the time. Invest in somebody like this with a fresh pair of eyes, comes in, experienced, and says, this is how you use it. Did you not know? You use that classic example. I've only got a lemon squeezer. Did you not know it could do limes and oranges?
Yeah.
Like, it's that moment, and how long would it have taken you to figure that out? Pay for somebody with the experience to come in. And that's what we did when we installed our system. We asked, and, God forbid, back then, 1980, whatever, 12 months of a consultant on site, but we could not have done with it without him. Because we would not know. And it was a fantastic implementation. It was running so smoothly by the end of it. It's incredible. It would have taken us 2 to 3 years to do it on our own.
Okay. I want to step back a bit then. You're working
Don't go too far, you'll get...
No, I'll stay near the microphone. We were... It's like this every week. 99 episodes have been putting up with us. No, the pirate jokes for a few weeks ago. So, you're working for software companies, correct? How did you go from that to where you are now? What was that journey?
Yeah.
Okay, so I stopped somewhere there. So I was an implementation consultant first, and I've done it for 7 years. So I was traveling across the UK, underbroad, implementing software to different type of businesses. Public sector, so universities, hospitals, councils, colleges, police, fire brigades, and also private sector. So one of our bigger clients was Kuwait Petroleum.
Right.
Okay, but also companies where they, let's say, produce tires for the cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and any other type of businesses. So because every type of business needs a ERP system when you think about it. Yeah, and then I moved to the project management, and actually I started delivering those projects as a project manager. Starting from really simple projects, I call them one-liner, so it's just one system, one solution, simple.
Yeah.
And then going in complexity to multi-layers, okay, where you then use subcontractors, and you mentioned a warehousing system could be one of them. For example, there is a system, when you think about NHS, there is a system where nurses go across the ward and they scan products using the scanners. That's another system, okay? And then you've got systems responsible for payments. That could be another solution from another provider. So their complexity is really, really high. And the biggest project I ever ran was for Northern Ireland, 17 hospitals simultaneously, an upgrade project. Yeah, when you think about it. So it's quite a layer there. And that gave me a really good insight into the challenges. Mm-hmm. And when you implement the change, what happens, why there is a resistance. And then once you are on site, you understand that, let's say, that specific site or hospitals, no one consulted with them before bringing a solution, right?
So there's change coming.
There is a change coming. What's more, you might then find out, you are already in the project, everything is running, the budget is there, things were purchased, and then you find out that something actually doesn't fit. Mm-hmm. You have a delay, you have an additional cost, and you really have a team that's a little bit disappointed. Yeah, and they remember they were not consulted. Yeah, that's one thing, because there will be natural resistance, and I absolutely understand it. But answering your question, then after that, I actually had the pleasure of running support teams. First just for the public sector, then for public and private. So I ended up with a good insight from the leadership perspective as well. What happens when things go wrong? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's just seeing how that operates and seeing where the gaps are. I had that idea that actually with that experience and knowledge, I could do it my way. Be a little bit closer. Be a little bit closer to clients.
Yeah.
And maybe not to be as a software provider, but more work with clients, helping them navigate any implementations. And as a project manager, I can run any project, so not just software. And actually, I do these days. Yeah, it's like, software is one thing.
Yes.
It's just a solution. That's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
But tool can be anything, right?
Yeah. You can also have the tool and people don't use it correctly, right?
You can, but it's like when you think about it, it doesn't have to be a complex software. It could be just a process that we implement for some of the clients. Yeah, you mentioned Paul.
Yeah.
That's where we are thinking to change processes a little bit, not to implement a new software.
No.
But to give you an example, one of my clients actually is a transportation software provider.
Yeah.
And they now are international, and I'm Polish. They want to venture to Poland. And what was interesting is there is a cultural difference as well. Yeah, let's say in the UK, you focus on pace, you focus on pragmatism. In Poland, we focus on detail, on compliance.
Mm-hmm.
Other, different countries have a little bit different rhythm and focus points. And they were looking for a company that would help them bridge that gap.
Okay.
So in there, it's the software. Yeah, we help to implement the software, but we also help for the clients over there understand how they could fit that particular software to the Polish reality.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I think it's about change. When I used to work in the council,
Mm-hmm.
and things used to change there, and this is kind of how I got into the communication side of the marketing, kind of marketing communications, right? So I was coming at it from a different angle, as in, we had a building project that happened and we needed to communicate that to people. So they felt consulted. Mm-hmm. Okay. Some of it is, you can run a consultation. Here's a load of stuff that we're thinking of. Give us your ideas. What are the problems? There's one type of consultation. The other one is, the change is happening. The change needs to happen for whatever reason, and this is what you need to sort of implement and do. Let's look at Microsoft as an example, actually. So they've been putting messages up on Windows machines for a significant amount of time. Yeah?
Yeah.
You need to upgrade, like a year, easily.
Easily.
And they've been communicating it for longer than that, but they've been putting the messages up on the Windows machines. All of that is really important with change. But I think what you're touching on there with regard to Poland is obviously it all comes down to understanding the people that you're working with, right?
Yes, understand, I think, the concerns as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think if you don't address the concerns early on, it will harm you in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It will bite you because they will resist the change.
I think people can easily think the term spin doctor was used a few years ago, wasn't it? With
great band, I love their songs.
Tony Blair's government, the chap, what was his name? Anyway, talking about him being a spin doctor and this, that and the other. And then that kind of gave communications a bit of a bad name, like it's been spun into something. I think what you're saying about the concerns, like I'm always, what are people not going to be happy with? So, what are the issues? What are the questions that they're going to have? And I'm like, that's where you need to start, right?
Yeah.
And then you can build the rest of it. And then you can start saying the positives about the change. Not, this is going to be really great for you. Like, even though there's going to be a bit of a bumpy time where we need to change things over. We need to, systems of work will change and this, that and the other. And I think sometimes people think the marketing comms is just focusing on, yeah, whatever, but everything's wonderful. And it's like, no, it's actually sometimes about embracing the concerns, the negativity, the questions. So you were doing that. How did you set up yourself?
Yeah, so just to say, to end that one story, after consulting the Polish client, and by the way, there are more than one, and they are number 1 and number 3, the biggest package producers in the world.
Wow.
They are in Poland, right?
Yeah.
So think about the scale. After consulting them, the software provider realized they need to amend the process there to fit the Polish reality, okay? And it's very successful. It's now, being widely used, and it's being developed to all the subsidiaries there, which is great. Now, I'd like to come back a little bit to the UK. This same challenge will be on a local level here. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be international. It could be just, in different offices, people have a slightly different culture. They slightly work in a different way. So it could be, the difference between Darlington and Durham and Newcastle and Sunderland. It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
You almost have to consult upfront all the offices, understand what the current process looks like, understand how you can map it to a solution, process, whatever that you are proposing, address the concerns, and only then deliver. Now, when you think about how I like to think how we differ, is we are like a crossbreed between the strategy but also delivery. Because you have a lot of consultancies that they will talk to you about the strategy, and then you have to go to someone else to deliver.
Yes. Yeah.
We actually can't do both. So we are with you all the time, like the whole journey and afterwards. Yeah, so almost like a trusted partner.
I love that. See,
Like
I didn't feed her those words. I did not feed her those
That's
words.
the term we use.
We use
Yeah, is
trusted
it?
partner.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've been saying it all the time on this podcast.
Because that's what it is. And again, if I
But it
can go
is.
back to what I did when we were sold the software, the salesman told us it can do everything.
Of course, that's
Because
the
that's
job.
that's what their job is.
Yes.
Then we got the delivery guy in, and just touching on what Jolanta was saying, the very first project of this ERP system was with a department. I can't remember which department it was. Let's just say it was the stock control. And I remember the very first project of that was a disaster because we did not consult with them. And when we did have the brainwave to sit them all in, we got all the guys in, and I'm not kidding, the whole staff, ladies and men, and they were all sat there like this because they were like, you absolutely...
For those listening, arms folded.
Sorry, I apologise. They were literally sat like this going, we hate you all.
Yes.
Because we tried to enforce the system, going, this is how it will work, this is how you will work. No.
It doesn't work.
The second project that we did, the second department, much better. It extended the timeline. It meant more cost, but we actually got them all in, and somebody like Jolanta would sit and go, hello, this is what we plan to do. We need to give you communication. We need to tell you. We are going to work with you. We are not here to change anything. We are not blah, blah, blah. And that project went so much more smoothly. It was unbelievable.
It's a lot of psychology there.
There is, and if you think about what you were saying previously, Jolanta, about different places where we were working, when I was working with Silic Mouldings, there was a branch in Chinham, which is in Scotland, and ourselves in Eagles Cliff. And again, even that cultural change up in Scotland, we had to then go up and then deliver the solution again. And even though we almost did exactly the same, processes had to change because people are different.
Yep.
They do things differently. Yeah. And that's the whole key, where you do need somebody like this that will actually sit across the whole business, not being a bottleneck. Yep. 100%, Adam, you could do, if you are implementing a new system, you could do this for Alina and Adam, but why would you? Because I'm taking you away from doing your day-to-day job of what you're actually exceptionally good at. Trusted partner, bring somebody in and go, sit with Adam, discuss, Lenta, please deliver. That's how it should be.
Yeah, one of the projects I'm running is for a state agency right now that's growing rapidly.
Brick by brick almost.
Terrible.
Sorry?
He's joking.
Brick by brick.
Just move on with that one.
What it
That was
is-
quite a good one, in fairness. It's like you've got a solution under one roof. No, it's not. Right, stop. Go on. Right, terrible. Come on.
Terrible, come on.
No, but what it is, so they are rapidly growing, and they currently just use Google Drive, spreadsheets, WhatsApp groups, and they don't have a system exactly. And of course, the founder, it's natural. He, all the knowledge is in his head, and he is currently so-called bottleneck. And it's a bit of a showstopper for him, because instead of going and searching for like new business, he is involved in all the basic processes. So what I'm doing right now for him, it's that one thing we decided on the software, which I did research. I look at the size of the company, at the costs, running costs, which is extremely important.
Yeah.
And that's one aspect of it. But then I have regular conversation with him to see where, which processes currently involve him and where it shouldn't be that way. And we are, having honest conversations and saying, you can continue, to do what you do, but that will be the end effect. Or you can let it go and a lot of people have a problem with it. Yeah? Let it go, and then look, it will free your time. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about the invoice at the end of your process there.
Yeah.
And basically look and gain a new business, and here the agency will run itself with your staff. Yeah, that's actually the big shift there.
Yeah.
So that's a smaller client, almost like a startup scaling up.
Yeah.
But because I've worked with bigger companies, huge companies, and I can almost predict what will happen if things don't change, it's just so much easier for me to think about the right argument and the right metaphor, if you wish, to help the other person understand.
You've got to... So we moved over to Teams. We use that. And we did that a few years ago now. Mm-hmm. And it's like any business that we walk into, our IT, I'd even argue at times our systems of work are actually... Like, we can be the smaller company that, working with a big company. But our systems of work, because we put things in place, we're on it and we've got it. And I'd argue that's why we continue to deliver, and we've done some really cool projects like TV projects and things like this. And it's because we've worked hard on our systems of work. However, if I didn't do that, we would have run into problems very quickly.
Yeah, we were talking last week about delegation. It's hard to let go.
Yeah, I remember the first time I gave someone access to our social media account. Someone, there you go, crack on, because suddenly it was no longer my voice, right? The business owner's voice. That is a hard one for people to let go.
Tell us about the feeling you had. That I think. Yeah, I don't want to name it. I let you kind of.
Yeah. It was. I suppose there was a bit of anxiousness around. What will it be? What will they do? It was. Will it be in the right way? Mm-hmm. And then I had to but there was a bit of self-talk in terms of, well, the right way is just whatever's in your head. So how can we, do that? So there was that. There was, what if it doesn't look like the other? But then the way I came round is I've been that busy. I haven't actually had time to do it properly. So I'm like, they're going to do a huge better job than I am.
Correct.
And as I said to Andy last week, Alina, as an example, was editing, and she'd be like, "Oh, have you seen this feature?" I'm like, "No," because I've been busy doing the other things. Alina's been doing the editing and this, that, and the other. I'm like, no, I still keep my hand in with editing. I still do it, but I'm not doing it as much. And to the point where Adam and Alina are both telling me features in software that they're in all the time, and I'm like, I didn't know I did that, and. I got over that pretty quickly, I suppose, is what I'm saying, to realise that the sooner that I can go, there you go, here's the framework of what we do and how we do it and how we talk about things, get creative.
I think
there has to be freedom.
Oh, no, there has to be freedom, and you've picked up on a word there. So can I ask a question? When you are working with your customers, and obviously, like any business owner, so yourself as well, letting go of your baby is incredibly difficult. But my question to you is that when that business owner clicks with you, releases it, do you see them almost going, this is liberating? I can now step away and grow the company like I've always planned, instead of the day-to-day detail. Lighthouse. You mentioned yesterday, last episode, about the lighthouse. A business owner will just focus on something and get so lost. So do you see that liberation with a successful client?
I do, but I just would like to kind of go back to what you were saying before. It's, it's that brand identity. You want to come across to your client in a specific way, hence that anxiety that, how can I trust the other person? And that's a very important point. And it's almost like you have to do sampling to see if you can trust. But now, Andy, answering your question, yes, I see, a big change, but sometimes I need to step back and let them stew. And I say, look, for a week or two, just observe yourself. Just see in how many processes you are involved.
That's good.
I like that.
Absolute freedom there.
Yeah.
And see what would happen, how much more time would you have if you didn't have to be involved in that process. And sometimes they are pretty, adamant that they want to do things in one way. And I said, that's fine. Let's just do it for 1 week. It's a pilot. It's an experiment. Let's go with it. And then let's meet next week and let's talk about what you've noticed during the last week. And this is quite often. Sometimes it takes a week. Sometimes it takes 3 weeks. but they arrive to the conclusion themselves that perhaps that needs a review, that perhaps, it's not liberating enough if they are involved in all those basic processes, if you think about it. And then there is the joy.
Yes.
Yeah, when I say that's done, that's already happening. Oh my God, that's happening. That's automated. Yes, it's all done. It's like, I can't believe it. I don't have to be there. I don't have to issue an invoice. No, you don't. The system did it.
Yeah. On the invoicing for us, what I have is recurrent invoices where we can do them.
Yes.
It's just the ad hoc stuff. I still just ping me and I'll sort that out. Also, I often see it as an opportunity for me to just go, hi, how's it going?
Yeah.
By the way, here's the invoice for the works undertaken. But it also serves as a, hello, is everything all right?
Yeah, but I think you even have more time to be that advocate for your business than as the business owner, because you want to come across a certain way. And if you are too busy in detail, what happens quite often, unfortunately, you are late with certain things. So that will harm your business image, right? Then you don't have the kind of mental capacity to check with the clients from time to time, how are you doing? Is there anything else we can do for you? Because you are involved in day-to-day operational stuff, and you shouldn't be. Yeah. Because with that mindset, you really, it's all about the relationship, winning new business, also having that perspective where when you see the whole picture, it's easier to spot gaps as opposed to when you are too close to it. And if you are involved in day-to-day, you are too close. You need to step back and say, okay, how long does the process
I'll be honest,
take?
I had a wonderful afternoon yesterday doing my photo shoot, but I was just feeling a bit too... I said to you, I'm actually taking some time off later today because I'm just like... No, because I was working Saturday, all of it. Like, I'm exhausted. And I said to the team, look, I'm cooked. I'm cooked. Right. I'm not a rational human being right now. I would be better just taking a bit of time, watching. I watched a movie last night. Like, I find that bit so important to run my business, which seems so counterintuitive. And sometimes it's doing the opposite thing really helps. But the problem is, you're right. When you're so in the detail, you don't come up for air. You don't breathe. It's next job, next job, next job. And I think the problem you have running a business, and this is what I challenge, is in order to develop the next step, you need to secure the cash flow for that next step, which means sometimes you've got to work really hard for a period to secure the cash flow, to get the cash flow to then get someone else in if it was staff, or to buy a new software to run that. Sometimes you've got to do that to get the capital to then be able to do it.
Look at the example that you've got when we had that very first meeting, and bless it, Jolanta won't know, when we first met, we were always talking, we were always flatting around, and then, honestly, he came to my office one day, knocked on the door and went, Andy, I need to move my emails. They were currently hosted, whatever like that. I can do it myself, but can you help me? And I went, spooky. Me and Michelle have just been saying, we're doing our social media, we can't keep it up. Can you help us?
So it's,
But it's that whole thing about Adam could do IT, but he now pays me to do it. Why? Because I bring planning, I bring teams, I do. And Adam doesn't need to be involved.
Yeah.
But having the guts to go, why am I paying somebody? I can do this. No. Concentrate on what you're good at and move the business forward. Otherwise, you're too in the detail.
But you can also do it in stages.
Yes.
Yeah, it's, if the change is too big, you can always dice it into smaller bits. You could employ someone for 2 hours a week to begin with.
Yeah.
And that's your sampling. That's what I was talking about. This is where the trust takes time.
Yes,
right?
of course.
Where you have a chance to check on someone else. Do they do a good job? Do they do it to my standard?
Mm-hmm.
Am I happy with them? If you are not, you can end the agreement, look for another solution. But at least you gave it a go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If you are happy, then suddenly you realize that freedom and you say, right, I can outsource that. That's fantastic. And to say it, I understand it firsthand, because as an implementation consultant in the past, I used to do all the workshops with clients myself, do the mapping process myself, then do the system configuration myself, then do the training on the system myself, then do the go live, by myself. And then I became a project manager. And the rule is you don't deliver on your own project as a project manager. And the reason is that if a client is unhappy with the delivering consultant, who do they go to complain if you are both?
Yeah, of course.
If you're a project manager and a consultant, there's no way out for them. Yeah, so it's almost a role that I could consult on a different project, but if I'm a project manager on your project, I'm your advisor. I'm that trusted
sides
person.
of the table.
Yeah, you should be able to come to me and say, "Oh, Jolanta, you know what? We actually, I don't know, something. The chemistry is not there."
Yeah.
And I say, "Okay, that's not a problem. We've got other consultants. We can pair you up." But if I'm both,
You can't.
you can't. But also that job of a project manager is I knew how to do stuff. I knew exactly how many minutes it will take me to do it. But I still had to delegate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delegation is one of the most important things. And coming back to me saying, I feel cooked. I mean, I've been in the detail and I need some time. I can do that because I've got systems of work in place. I've got no commitments in my diary for me. And I'm like, right, now rest.
Yeah.
And then I've got my week mapped out next week. And I'm like, I know exactly what I'm doing when. The team are all sorted. We've got webinars in. Everyone knows what they're doing. And that's really important. And that's when it then starts working, so that if I do need to just take a bit of time, I can.
Yeah,
and things are taken care of. Whereas if you don't put systems in place, and you don't delegate and you don't let go, it means you go, I really want to take some time back just to have a bit of a break, but I can't, because it's all on myself.
On you.
But the delegation thing is actually very interesting, because last week we had what I saw was potentially an issue with a customer. And what I did was I delegated somebody to make the phone call instead of me. And they went, "But why? You're the boss. You can make the phone." I went, no. If they're not happy with you, they can escalate it to me. If I make that call and they're not happy, I'm at a standstill. At least, and you were saying it, and honestly, I love the wording. You can almost swap sides. And I was laughing, and again, I'm not making any names, but I was laughing, going, you could deliver the message that I want to this customer, and if the customer's not happy, they raise to me, and I can instantly change and went, what did he say that for? Hang on a minute. And I'm not, you can call it throwing him under the bus, but it means I've now got a happy customer. It's also a way of testing the waters. Adam, do me a favour, tell Jolanta this. Blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm not happy with this. I want to speak to the boss. Andrew, I'm not happy. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll change it. That's a great way of allowing it. Whereas if I'd have said, Ellen, to do this, not happy, I know where to go now.
Yeah.
And it kind of, colors the relationship a little bit.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It also makes people realise that it's not just you that they're working with.
100%.
And that's really important as well.
Yeah.
How did you go then from doing all that to setting up yourself? What made you do that yourself?
I just think I got to this stage. I'm a dream chaser. If that makes sense.
Yes.
I love that.
Okay. And, thinking about it, in the past, I wanted to be a consultant. And I put a lot of effort to become one. So I originally studied economics, international trade, and then I studied accountancy and financial management because I wanted to be the ERP consultant. So you need to know the accountancy side. So I spent a lot of time and money, my own money, to get kind of trained.
Yeah.
And then I was, headhunted. The dream came true. I did the same for project management. I really wanted to be a project manager. I studied both the waterfall approach, Prince 2 agile approach, a Scrum approach, all of it on my own, because I wanted to become a project manager and have, I had the experience, but also the backup of certifications that I know what I'm talking about, this and that. And so on and so on. And I had a lot of dreams fulfilled in my life like that. And once I got to that leadership position, and I've been a director for 6 years there, I thought, it's nice, don't get me wrong. It's kind of good to be in that position. The dream was there, fulfilled. But I've noticed I'm much further from clients. And I only get to talk to them when things get really bad.
Yes.
So when you think about it, so let's say support person talked to them, then the team leader, they didn't resolve it, then the manager, they didn't resolve it. Sometimes a project manager, depends what it is, they didn't resolve it. And it gets to me 2-3 months down the line when the client is really unhappy.
Yes.
And then I have that hard job, of turning things around, which is quite late in the process. And I thought, actually, the dream of mine is to have a go and see if I can have my own consultancy.
Yep.
Yeah, and be a bit closer to clients and kind of be along the journey there. Because when changing the roles, I was also missing some bits that I used to do, but in that specific role, you just don't do it. Especially in a corporation, you just don't. Yeah.
So you went from a nightmare manager to a dream chaser.
Yes.
Nice summary.
Thank you.
You're right about in most careers, the higher you go up the hierarchy, the further away you get from what it is you're actually doing. So I used to work in sport, and I started doing sports coaching. I was chasing the career thing, and it was like, I loved it. It's great. I was working in schools, doing sessions, this, that, and the other. Then I got a promotion, which I was really excited about, really wanted, did that, doing a bit more computer work. Then I ended up basically spending most of my time working at a computer. And I'm like, hang on. And I was coordinating, we had, I don't know, just under 50 sessions a week going on. And I'm going like, oh, someone's sick, right, who's the coach? And I was like, what? This is me working in sport. I did get to go on to work with like funding projects, like secure funding through Sport England funding, small grants funding. That was really rewarding. But again, form filling, writing, consultation, we did that, and I found that the higher I sort of went in the sports bit is actually the least sport I was actually doing. I was working on a computer, kind of project management, I suppose. Really.
Because you're further away from the end client, and that's why I love what I do, is because I'm literally there with the client, working out how can I make them better, how can they utilize teams better, how can they. Yes, I delegate some of the work. I keep saying when somebody rings up and goes, my printer's not working or this, yes, one of my team will pick it up. Yeah. My philosophy now is that I'm more managing the customer's expectations, getting it, but I need people like Dan, Eddie, Michelle, Liam to do the day-to-day
It's
stuff.
like setting the direction.
That's what I'm
getting
doing
your
with the
team
customer.
behind it to then
100%. And sometimes it's very, very hard to try and make a customer understand that they are wrong. And you alluded to that previously. Sometimes somebody can be so focused, it's my way or no way. And I'm like, I can't help you anymore unless you lift your head up. And most people are like that. 99% of people are like that. But when you start to make them understand what Teams, what email, what systems can do, every customer starts off. I'm working with a lovely Canadian lady at the moment who all her emails were IMAP, obviously, like hosted in 20i. Growing the business and then going, but my emails are not working. Everything's stored in one place and I can't mention it. Making that lady move to Microsoft was a heck of a challenge. I don't like it. I hate it. It's this or this. Now, I love it. I can't do without it. But that was such a hard journey. But now, working together, moving forward, it's so enlightening again.
My last question, before we sort of wrap, is you obviously set up as your consultancy. You became a solo entity yourself, a workforce of you. And talking about the delegation earlier, I was saying about giving someone the keys to run our market, to run our social media, post on social media and stuff like that. There was a time where my business was marketing itself worse than our clients because we were so busy marketing our clients that the easy thing to do is to forget yourself. So I always call it, we've got to put our mask on first, like on the aeroplane.
Yeah, of course.
If people don't know why they say that, it's because you could, like, if you do have depressurization, you don't put your own mask on first, you can become, is it apoxic?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could basically start to pass out very quickly. So that's why I say put yours on first and then you can help someone and get
else.
to them.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you could be trying to wrestle with theirs and you put yourself. So I made it a real priority that our work has to be as good as our clients because no one sees what we're doing with our clients. No one necessarily knows who we're working with. They might see their stuff but not know it's us. Have you implemented then your own strategies into your own consultancy work where it's required?
Well, I do. I have an honest conversation with myself every day.
How does that go?
What are you doing? I'm doing very well, thank you. No, you're not.
But it's almost like because you observe that conversation with business owners, you have to have it with yourself. And of course, my life partner, he is my stone, my rock. Mm-hmm. Yeah? And we are having that type of conversation as well. He's in a similar industry, so we understand each other day to day. And yes, I do. So I do delegate. what I can delegate. I make sure I don't, get sucked into the detail too much, because my vision is that I want to be that person who has time to keep in touch with clients. To think, hey, what's the next job? What are we doing? How can I help? How is that working for you? So definitely yes. And, it came from a pain. Let's face it. Yeah?
Yes.
You learn. I mean, that transition, I cannot praise it enough as you go through a role to more complicated roles, because it does show you firsthand where the problem is. So that transition from the implementation consultant to a project manager was the most painful.
Yes.
Because as I said, I had to let it go.
Yeah.
Could not do anything, even though for someone new it would take 2 days, what would take me 4 hours, because I was experienced one. But you need to allow the 2 days, because it will really pay back in the future and you have more time, right? And then moving from a project manager position to a leadership position, that's a completely different thing altogether.
I can imagine.
Yeah, because now, as you say, you set a direction, and you don't want to micromanage people.
Yep.
You don't want to tell them how to do their job.
Nope.
You just say, we need to get there. How you get there, it's up to you, providing we get there on time, to budget, to the quality required. Go.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. I do like
I
that.
told you she would be good.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this episode. I've really enjoyed this episode.
Thank you.
I thought it would be such a good fit after
Probably
our
just a
last one as well.
reaffirming conversation, because the time one was a bit of a rant last week because we're so busy.
Yeah.
And it was, it's always a challenge. And you start your business and you're like, ooh, this is exciting. And people are going, it must be great being your own boss. You can work whenever you want. And it's like...
Yes, 24 hours
Yes.
a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah, if you're doing all right and you're sort of doing it, that's what happens. And then sometimes some of the work you have to do isn't necessarily, like thinking of the bigger picture. It's not necessarily transactional all the time. So you're saying, if it needs to take 2 days so that, someone learns, and you could do it quicker. You need to sort of go through that process, because then that 2 days will reduce ultimately in this, that, and the other. You've got to be able to, especially when you start working with staff or with partners, you've got to let go and let it happen. And then sometimes it's just the things like, when I'm doing my VAT return, I always talk about who's paying me to do my VAT return, if that makes... You've got to just sort of factor that into your work, right? Yeah. So you end up... Let's say you do an hour's work, you get paid for an hour's work, but you still got your VAT return to do.
We know that. I'm a VAT. As well,
do you see what, so there's like loads of jobs where you're going, how is this directly billable time if it's a time, and it isn't. And you've got to kind of work that as you go. So it's done me some good today, I tell you.
Yeah. But I tell you what, once you allow that person, the new person, spend 2 days, and you ask them to document the journey as well, next time around you have a blueprint.
Yep.
Yeah, you can see where where there were some gaps, where they misunderstood something. So you can really write an instruction, a job instruction. So if you have another new person into a similar role, you are not starting from zero. You actually already have an instruction. And what's even better, you ask the first person to teach the other, because I'm sure you've heard it, that nothing kind of reinforces your knowledge more than the moment you have to teach someone else what you've just learned. You realize the gaps, you realize what you don't understand, because if you cannot convey the message, the knowledge you cannot share, you have gaps there.
I realised, Alina started as an apprentice, and that threw me right in at the deep end in terms of... Alina came to me straight from college. She already had she was amazing in terms of what she already had in terms of experience. But I was like, if I don't give Alina fair time, I'm not being very respectful. B, I'm making it harder for her to succeed in a thing that we both want to happen. And finally, it's just the right thing to do. Yeah,
because it also, you are at the end of that process as well. It's your time, your freedom. Yeah. I hope you are, like me, a dream chaser. So, you've got your dream in your mind, and you need time and space and freedom to achieve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hence why I'm hoping to get out on the bike this afternoon. So with that in mind, when I push bike...
Before you go on to that, so how do people get in touch with you? How do people contact you? Obviously, we'll share the knowledge and share the information. But if somebody wanted to contact you, how do they do that?
Well, they can contact us via LinkedIn. That's one place. But they also can send us an email at hello@alventor.com.
Brilliant. We will write that down and get that in the description on various platforms that we're
social
on,
media.
YouTube, Spotify, etc. So please check that out. Final question is, what are you doing at the weekend?
Well, that's a very interesting one. I didn't, I'm also an enthusiast DIY.
Oh,
okay,
dangerous.
so a little bit. I run renovation projects for myself.
Wow.
Because I just enjoy it. So I've got a small job to do. I will be renovating a hallway for actually my mother.
Oh, lovely.
So a little bit of tools, again, like the lemon squeezer, a little bit like that. Well, I know how to use it, and that's the plan for the weekend, to refresh the hallway.
Brilliant.
And make it really nice.
Squeeze some life into it.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
What about you, my friend?
I have a quieter weekend, although I am going to the Team Luke Foundation open water swim that's happening. So for those that don't know Team Luke Foundation,
Say hello to Tank for me.
I will. Mark Bell. They set up Team Luke, which is a charity that raises awareness about neuroblastoma, children's cancer charity, set up in the name of Luke Bell, who unfortunately lost his life to neuroblastoma. And we've had the pleasure of supporting their event, and it's been a wonderful thing to support them with. Obviously, it's such a serious topic, and heartbreaking in many ways.
Of course it is, yeah.
However, I spoke to Mr. Tank, Mark Bell, last night. He's called Tank because of rugby.
He's built like one.
Yeah, they've got I think 37 swimmers.
Oh my
for event tomorrow
goodness.
night. So it's a twilight swim with illuminated tow floats. So I'm going to go and get some photographs, get the drone up, hopefully get some decent footage of that. Fingers crossed for dry weather. That's all I need for the drone.
Really good. I can't wait to see those.
So that's
photos.
that. And then the rest of the weekend is pretty chill, like kids football.
Yeah, Dad's taxi.
No rugby on Sunday.
You're not playing?
There's no game for us this weekend.
All right, okay, so you get to keep your training.
Yeah, there is a third team game, but
All right.
with the timing of the Team Luke stuff, I can't. So I've just said. And also, I've definitely detached my fingernail from that first game, which is still in there, but yeah, it's a bit. I keep catching it. It hurts quite a lot.
Yeah.
So there we go. I've broke a fingernail. Everybody, what are you doing for the weekend, sir?
Chilled, relaxing. It's been pretty hectic
Yes.
the last couple of weeks, as you know. So I think I'm just going to be flat out enjoying watching films, gaming.
Yep.
Bit more of that, but otherwise I'm just done. I'm cooked, to use your word.
I say that a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to just give yourself a moment, and I think it's easy to think about work and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Your brain can't handle that, I think, and I think it's sometimes just really important to go, enough. You've got this window. Take the window.
Unless you're a Mac user, then you can't use Windows.
Exactly. And on that note, thank you so much for coming
thank you.
in. It's
Thank
been
you.
brilliant.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Next week, 100th episode. I'm going to teach Andy how to DJ. We're going to bring the decks in, Lena. We're going to hook the decks up to there. So if you want to hear what we get up to on the 100th episode, I'm going to have to find some royalty-free music to do.
Yeah, you will. Don't bring any records. I'll just scratch them.
No, it's not records. So it's all digital. But yes, I will teach you, and we'll also do a bit of a reminisce about our 100 episodes.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. But yeah, thank you. Honestly, Jolanta, that was really good. I thought
you very much.
really did think she would fit us perfectly after our time management rant episode.
Absolutely. See you later, everybody.
See you later. Bye.